Welcome to Short Movie Channel. At the beginning of today's movie story, we see a young man waking up suddenly, confused by the strange place he finds himself in. He has no idea where he is or how he got there. He starts looking around and notices that the place is almost empty except for a shower and a sink. Feeling anxious and disoriented, he tries to open the door by banging on it and shouting, "Let me out of here now!" But nothing works. As he keeps trying, he notices a small screen lighting up in front of him with the word "Share" written on it, which also happens to be the name of today's movie. He begins pressing letters, words, and numbers on the screen, hoping to find a way to open the door and escape, but all his efforts are in vain. He looks at the camera in the room, as if asking what's happening to him, but no one answers his questions, and there's no response from anyone. After some time, he tries to use the toilet but discovers there's no water, not even in the sink beside it. Suddenly, he gets an idea and uses the screen in front of him to type the word, "water." A message pops up saying that water costs 5 points. However, he doesn't know how to pay or even who he's supposed to pay. Feeling completely drained, he sits on the floor. Out of nowhere, he accidentally passes gas, and a message appears on the screen saying he's earned 5 points. With those points, he manages to buy water. After washing his face, he starts to understand how things work. He discovers he's on a live broadcast, and real people are watching him. To entertain them, he tries doing random, funny movements around the room, but he doesn't get many points as he expected. Afterward, instructions appear on the screen, telling him to perform specific tasks. When he follows them, he earns extra points. The lights around him dim, allowing him to rest and sleep for a while. When he wakes up again, he goes to take a shower. While showering, he unexpectedly earns more points, which makes him very happy. He quickly starts doing more funny movements again, hoping to earn additional points, but he slips and falls hard on the floor. He screams in pain, not just from the fall but also because he's extremely hungry. Points start increasing on the screen, so he requests food. However, what he receives is dog food, and a very small portion of it. The food is delivered through a small hidden opening in the wall. Disgusted, he refuses to eat it at first, but with no other options, he eventually gives in. After eating, he decides to use his situation to his advantage. He begins imitating a dog's behavior, making dog-like movements and sounds, which earns him a lot of points. The viewers seem to enjoy his performance. He uses the points he collects to request new clothes, but unfortunately, his points aren't enough to fulfill his request. Instead, he receives a women's bra, leaving him bewildered. He decides to wear it, and puts on a show in front of the camera. By this point, he's completely exhausted and overwhelmed with despair. He collapses to the ground, crying in frustration and bitterness over his situation. After some time, he falls asleep, and when he wakes up, he tries again. He begins performing acrobatics, telling jokes, making funny noises, and doing everything imaginable to entertain the viewers and earn more points. Over time, he manages to gather a decent number of points, and uses them to buy a t-shirt and an inflatable mattress to sleep on. As days go by, he keeps collecting many points. He's even able to exchange them for clothes, shaving tools, a mirror, good food, and even alcohol. He uses the alcohol to get drunk and forget the situation he's in. We learn that he's a vegetarian and doesn't eat meat at all, but they keep sending him meat. He has no choice but to eat it, otherwise he'd die of hunger. One day, he drinks excessively and gets drunk. In a rage, he starts hitting the screen, wanting to break it. He believes he might be able to escape through the small opening where they deliver the food. However, all his attempts fail, and he becomes completely broken. He goes back to hitting the screen again, injuring his hand in the process. He reaches his breaking point, falling into a fit of hysterical anger, screaming at the top of his lungs, begging them to let him out, to release him from this cursed place. Suddenly, without warning, everything around him turns off, and the place becomes completely dark. He feels terrified, fearing they might leave him here until he dies, with no one ever knowing what happened to him. After all, He himself doesn't even know where he is or how he got there. Panicked, he starts apologizing and begging them for forgiveness. Out of nowhere, the lights turn back on, and the screen lights up again. A man appears on the screen. He seems old and looks like he's in a room similar to the one the young man is in. However, this older man has way more things in his room. The older man begins speaking to him, saying that sometimes glitches happen in the system. He also explains that as your level and popularity increase, and you earn more points, you gain the ability to interact with other participants in the system. When the young man asks the older man about who's behind this and why they're doing this to them, the older man replies, "I don't know anything. I'm here just like you. The only difference is I've been here longer." He adds, "I was unconscious when I woke up in this place. I don't know when or how I got here." They continue talking and having discussions. One day, a new level unlocks for the young man. Through a screen and a computer, he's able to see live streams of others who are just like him. Each one offers something different: cooking, singing, dancing, and more. The thing that fascinates him the most is a young, almost beautiful girl who practices yoga. Later, he contacts the older man again, and from their conversation, we find out that the young man is 14 years old, while the older man is 73. One night, he calls the young yoga girl while everyone else is asleep. He tells her he admires her a lot, and even sends her a bunch of points as a gift and a way to introduce himself. The next day, he contacts the older man, who starts teaching him how to do a successful live stream that earns a lot of points and boosts his level. For example, the older man teaches him some tricks and skills to amaze and entertain the viewers. The young man learns everything from him and manages to buy many things. The older man advises him, "We need to keep improving ourselves and our content. Otherwise, the viewers will get bored, stop watching, and stop sending us points and rewards." From that moment, the protagonist begins thinking about the best type of content to present to his audience. Should it be comedy, singing, sports, or even cooking? Using simple magic tricks and sleight of hand he learned from the older man, his audience and followers grow rapidly. As a result, the points and rewards he receives increase significantly. He buys more items to use for his performances and content. He even starts offering some yoga lessons after learning from the beautiful girl. He also tries to buy cough medicine for the older man, who keeps coughing constantly. However, he makes a mistake and joins a live stream of Room 11, which belongs to a new girl there. She happens to be taking a shower, and the moment she sees him on the screen, she freaks out because she thinks he's the one who kidnapped her and brought her here. He quickly explains everything to her, clarifying the situation, and she calms down a bit. At that moment, the old man joins the chat and welcomes her as well. After a while, she asks them if anyone has ever tried to escape from this place. They tell her that they haven't heard of anyone attempting or succeeding in escaping. The young man says, "One time, I got really angry, but they cut everything off from me. Imagine what they'd do if I tried to escape." But she confidently replies, "No system is without a security flaw, and I'm sure if we try, we can figure a way out." A few days later, the young man buys her a bath towel, but she gets upset because she wants to be independent and doesn't want anyone to feel sorry for her or pity her. In the following days, the young man starts performing artistic shows for his audience, drawing pictures and creating paintings. However, his art is absolutely terrible because he doesn't know how to draw at all. What starts as an artistic show turns into a funny, entertaining, comedic act. Realizing this, he continues with the comedy shows and earns a lot of points and rewards. Later, a major disagreement arises between them. At one point, the old man suffers from a severe coughing fit that gets worse over time. One night, his coughing becomes so bad that he can't breathe, leading to a seizure. He loses consciousness and collapses against the screen. The young man begs the viewers watching the live stream to do something to help him. Meanwhile, the girl frantically searches the screen for any information or data that could save him. But by accident, she presses a button. Suddenly, the old man's room starts heating up rapidly. The temperature rises to the point where flames burst from the walls of the old man's room, consuming everything, including the old man himself, within moments. They watch the horrifying scene unfold live on their screens. After some time, as they mourn what happened, the young man reaches out to the girl, trying to comfort her. He assures her it wasn't her fault, but she refuses to talk or communicate with him. The young man decides to put on an entertaining show with puppets, dolls, and other toys he has. When she sees him, she makes an unusual request. She says she wants to get drunk so she can forget everything she's done in their current situation. He agrees, and the two order large quantities of alcohol. They drink, get drunk, and start dancing together on a live stream. They even begin removing their clothes. After a long while of this wild behavior, they both admit they still can't stop thinking about the old man or what happened to him. The girl says, "You were right from the start. We need to get all the participants together in a live stream to figure out a flaw in the system that we can use to escape. What happened to the old man proves this system has weaknesses we can exploit to get out of here." The young man sits in front of the camera and his computer screen, delivering a deeply emotional speech. This earns him a massive number of points and rewards from viewers and followers. But he tells them that he doesn't want it, and doesn't want anyone to send him anything at all. Then, Peter and Beto sell all the participants on starting to search for a loophole in the system to help them escape the situation they're in before they all die here, one by one, just like what happened to the old man. Suddenly, the girl who practices yoga calls the guy and tells him that his speech and words are very, very impactful. But the other girl gets into an argument with her when she finds out she's against the idea of trying to escape. This leads the yoga girl to immediately end the call with them. After that, the guy and the girl continue to communicate with the other participants, and they feel really happy when they find out that there are people agreeing to join them in searching for a loophole in the system, including a woman who figured out how to make her room's ceiling rain water like it's pouring down. That night, the guy contacts the yoga girl again, and they talk while taking a shower together. She tells him that the other girl is always sad and depressed, and she doesn't like that. She says to him that he is popular and loved by viewers because he presents funny and comedic things, and she is one who loves optimism even in the worst of circumstances and tries to create happiness for herself and those around her, just like him. He begins doing yoga exercises with her, and over time, a lot of participants in the system agree to their plan to discover unknown and secret points in the system that no one knows about, like controlling the ventilation system and even moving the walls around them. But in one of the moments, the guy tells the girl that he's not excited about the idea of leaving, and there are people who really like the place and want to stay here. They shouldn't be forced to leave if they don't want to. Then, the girl cuts her hair as a sign of rebellion and defiance. Later that night, the other girl starts her live stream for yoga exercises, and the two girls get into a heated argument. The guy intervenes and tries to break up the fight between them. After that, the guy starts his live stream and asks all the participants to send him just 1 point. They actually do, and we see that the system breaks down, and the points start growing and increasing at a huge, unexpected rate. The yoga girl tells him, "You're a thief and a robber," while the other girl makes her room rain, with water pouring from the ceiling, and she leaves it, heating up her room just like what happened with the old man. Then, she sets the room on fire and dies instantly. When the guy sees this, he's shocked and falls to the ground, devastated. At that moment, the lights, the lighting, and even the screen go off in his place. After a while, a secret door opens in his room, so he rushes to escape from it. But at that moment, he sees his screen turn back on, so he goes back to the screen and tells the participants that a door has opened in his room, and he's about to get out, and they need to cooperate with each other to escape like him. But suddenly, the door closes on him again, and he is shocked. And now, his shows will start all over from the beginning with 0 points after missing the opportunity to escape. And that's how today's movie ends. I hope you enjoyed it with us. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.